Once again, it's Kennard Vernon Stewart of the podcast talking Auburn football. Go ahead and like this video, comment, and subscribe to Vernon Speak Sports Auburn. Man, we got a special guest on tonight, Devin Dawson, actually the founder of All About Auburn sports page on Facebook. If you are an Auburn fan, I encourage you to check it out because they talk about a lot of good stuff. Especially when it comes to content about genuine content about Auburn football. You need to check them out. Devin Dawson, how are you doing tonight, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing good. I love talking about Auburn football, especially when we're not on a bye week, man. It's just
Absolutely.
tiresome, man. You got to find stuff to talk about. And, you know, the only big story was Boobie Whitlow getting hurt.
Yeah.
And that sucked because I'm thinking we're going into the bye week with kind of injury free. But then, to what did my wondering eyes would appear, Boobie Whitlow, our starting running back, is basically out for the
e-
year. They say 4 to 6 weeks, but an MCL injury, man, put the cast on. You are out for the year, baby.
Exactly. And going into a bye week after a loss just kind of leaves, kind of a bitter taste in your mouth. And then your starting running back gets hurt. I mean, there you go.
I tell you what, Devin, I really like where Auburn is headed. Now, a lot of folks were bitter about the 5-1. About the loss to Florida. I, for one, was a bitter guy because look, I thought we had a better roster than Florida. I thought we were deeper than Florida. I thought we were the better team. You take that same Florida team and you put them in Jordan Hare Stadium on that same day. I think Auburn 2 touchdowns, Florida. Neither here nor there. Going
Eh,
into the
No
Arkansas
doubt.
game, going into the Arkansas game, I think you got some good skill players. The guy that jumps, off the screen to me is Rokeem Boyd, but even four more guys that jump off the screen to me come from the Auburn Tigers. You're talking about Marlon Davidson, Big Cat Bryant, Derek Brown, all those guys in the front, and then you talk about KJ Britt and Owen Papo. We talked about it all in the offseason. We thought Auburn's defense would be a lot more athletic, and it's turning out to be so. Now, tell me about Rodney Garner, and you're probably one of the most unsung recruiting gurus that I know. You put me on game earlier this year. Tell me what has to happen for the Tigers to continue this onslaught of great recruits from a, defensive lineman, linebacker standpoint to keep this thing going.
Well, Vernon, what has to happen is exactly what we're doing now. We arguably have the best defensive line in the country. We arguably have the best front seven in the country. If you're a kid coming out of high school in the defensive line or linebacker position, you got to want to play for T. Will. You got to want to play for Rodney Garner. They're some of the best in the business, and that's just all there is to it. And I think we have 1 3-star on the defensive line right now. I look for that to change very soon.
One of the things I like about the Auburn Tigers as we talk about the whole defensive line thing is one thing a guy out of high school has to understand is that Rodney Garner is going to give you a chance to play. Whether most of you Auburn fans realize it or not, Derek Hall has played, uh, 4-star recruit out of Mississippi. Kobe Wooten had a couple of tackles in the Mississippi State game. 4-star recruit out of not Grayson, but Gwinnett County, Archer High School in Georgia. So he's giving his guys a chance to play. And guess what that's done for Auburn? Is giving Derek Brown, arguably one of the best defensive linemen probably in the country right now, a chance to be very diverse up and down the line of scrimmage. Because if we saw the first couple of games, Derek Brown was being double teamed, but now you never know. Derek Brown might line up at defensive end. He might line up at nose tackle. He can line up anywhere. And we saw his athleticism against Florida when, you talk about a 300-pound dude. They joking on him about falling, but dude was going full speed. He actually outran someone. And, hey, he put Auburn in a great position, a very Nick Fairley-ish type position in that Florida
Exactly.
game. When you talk about domination, I love the fact that he picked LaMichael Pirine up and slammed him down. That's what we need out of Derrick Brown. We talk about going into the late stretch of the SEC. This is a huge game uh, for Auburn going against Arkansas. You talk about a team in Arkansas that's only 8 points away from actually having two SEC victories instead of two SEC losses. What do you want to see out of Auburn in this game, Devin?
I want to see offense. So Boyd is a hell of a running back, no question. But he has a full task at hand with Derrick Brown, Marlon Davidson, KJ Britt. I mean, those guys are coming after him. And I'm going to go back to the Florida game. Piron ended up with 130 yards. That one run it really solidified his yardage. He had 40 yards until that one run. We shut him out the whole game, and I look for the same thing this Arkansas game, except I don't see a big run coming in the future.
Now, now the run that you're talking about for LaMichael Piron, I think it was a very nicely designed play.
Absolutely.
By Dan Mullen. Now, if you really want to get real tricky with the X's and O's, just think about Sean Shivers against Alabama. That was actually the exact same play, except Sean Shivers took it out just a little bit outside of the tackle box, and LaMichael Piron hit it kind of sort of between the C and D gaps of the offensive line. And what he did was, I think Dan Mullen did a great job of creating some imbalance. He saw the fact that KJ Britt probably 9.5 times out of 10 makes that tackle, but
for sure
it created a 1.5 imbalance. The half imbalance was KJ Britt because he wasn't expecting it. That's why he missed the tackle. And then you have a one-on-one situation with Daniel Thomas, and he was caught off guard as well. Great play by Dan Mullen. Gives Florida 88 yards. Between the 88-yard play there and the 66-yard pass by, damn it, I can't think of the guy's name right now. Freddie Swain. Freddie Swain. The 66-yard play there. You're talking about 38% of Florida's offensive production on two plays. I think Auburn's defense played well enough, championship enough to beat Florida or anybody that particular day.
I mean, when you force 4 turnovers, something's got to give. Your offense has to help you out. What did they score? 24 points?
Right.
Come on now.
Yeah. I mean, you got to help the guys out. And between one thing about it, and we'll go ahead and kind of round it up. But one thing about it, between the 20s, from 20 minus to 20 plus, I think Bo Nix is very good. I think what I want to see from Auburn is how does Bo Nix execute in the red zone? Because he hasn't been like particularly good in the red zone. He's created a lot of turnovers, forced some field goals there.
Right.
What will the decision making be? Do you see Joey Gatewood in the Wildcat position in lieu of Booby Whitlow not being there? And I'll end this one with your thoughts.
Absolutely. Inside the 20, inside the 10, it has to be Gatewood.
Yeah. Really like Gatewood.
Gatewood isn't just a Wildcat running back. Gatewood is a quarterback. The playbook's completely open. He's a downhill bulldozer, Cam Newton-ish top, up the middle. And I'm
gonna be crazy. I'm gonna be crazy real quick, Devin. From what I've seen of Joey Gatewood, I think he might be a little more athletic than Cam Newton.
He very well could be.
On the low. Just to start some crap. I just want to.
Oh yeah. We love controversy.
Yeah.
We dialed up those running plays, that he scored on, and then I can't remember which game it is. It kind of looks similar to that, and then he hits Canella with a Schenker with a pass to them. I mean, look at
Devin Dawson bringing back the play from Cam Newton to the late Lutzenkirchen in the Iron Bowl, where Cam Newton kind of sort of sold the run. and had a throwback pass to Lutzenkirchen. Same thing
It's
with,
identical.
yeah, same thing with Gatewood, but it was a little bit more shallow because I'll tell you why. Joey Gatewood kind of hesitated a little bit because he didn't know what to do. Cam Newton knew exactly what he was going to do, but Joey Gatewood made the right decision. See, that's why Devin Dawson is the founder of All About Auburn, because he knows Auburn football. That's an Auburn football play, the throwback to Lutzenkirchen, i.e. Gatewood to Schenecker. That is a classic Auburn play call, especially under the Gus Malzahn era. Devin Dawson, I'll tell you what, I'm probably going to go live for the Auburn versus Arkansas game play by play. Hopefully some of you guys can tune in to that. I'll tell you what, man, I really appreciate you tuning in tonight. Devin Dawson is definitely a huge War Eagle guy. Go ahead and like this video and comment and subscribe to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. Let's leave the floor open. Devin, do you have any closing thoughts before we get
Yes.
off here?
Yes, I do. So this was my first podcast interview. I'm just glad it didn't choke like Georgia did.
And you definitely did not do that, man. Definitely great footage, and you have been more than a great contributor to Vernon Speaks Sports Auburn. I will say, you guys have seen me on Mark Rogers TV. Devin Dawson is the guy that put me on to that. Also, when you saw all that footage of me doing recruiting for Auburn, Devin Dawson was right there to help me with all of that. So I'm indebted to Devin Dawson, the founder of All About Auburn. And go ahead and become a member on Facebook. And like I said before, man, we got it going on. It is game week for the Auburn Tigers. And as always, it's great to be an Auburn Tiger. I'll let Devin end this one with a big
War
War
Eagle.
Eagle. Yes, sir.